In late September, more than 36 employees of the Department of Environmental Management gathered at the Parks and Recreation headquarters in North Kingstown for a staff appreciation cookout. They are the ones responsible for maintaining Rhode Island's extensive woodlands, parks, beaches, and bike paths. Supervisors saw it as a way to say thank you for their hard work over the summer. But the Hummel report has learned that an employee with the Parks and Recreation staff asked a vendor that has done extensive work with DEM to pick up the $1,500 tab for 40 people to dine on hamburgers, steak, baked beans, corn, and orzo Florentine salad, an apparent violation of the state's ethics code. The vendor, Northeastern Tree Services Incorporated, has been paid more than $1.5 million by DEM for its work over the past 5 years.
She's aghast, that this happened.
DEM spokesman Michael Healy said that Director Janet Coit acted immediately after the Hummel report brought the situation to her attention.
She thought the number one thing was, all right, we need to reimburse the tree company for the money that we should never have asked them to contribute for this event. Because at the very least, it looks really bad if we're doing business with a vendor, and now we're asking this vendor to pay for a luncheon benefiting 40 employees.
But taxpayers will not be reimbursing Northeastern.
She split the cost of the reimbursement of the lunch with the head of our Parks and Recreation Department. We weren't going to compound one mistake with another mistake. It was our lapse in judgment that caused this. So why should the taxpayers have to fund that mistake?
Meanwhile, the employee and the chief of Parks and Recreation are now on administrative leave pending a human resources investigation. Coit was unavailable for an on-camera interview, but issued a statement that read in part, "As soon as I learned about this transgression, I took action to address it. Although we do not yet have all the information, the facts we know are troubling, and we are taking this very seriously. As the director of DEM, I take responsibility, and we will learn from this mistake." Coit added that she is mandating Ethics Commission training for Parks and Recreation staff and DEM senior leadership, something she did when she first became director in 2011. Northeastern Tree Service has been awarded the tree and shrub trimming removal contract by the state each year since 2015 for routine and emergency tree work. Healy said that with staffing reductions, DEM does not have the manpower to keep up with the workload. He noted there has been a 67% cut in full-time Parks and Recreation employees over the past 30 years. DEM is responsible for 8,200 acres of parkland, 1,000 campsites, 400 miles of hiking and bicycle trails, and 25 parks and nature preserves. He said trees are the leading hazard and risk to the public.
Our number one job when anyone visits the property is to ensure their safety. And if you're riding on the East Bay bike path, the last thing you want is for a tree to come down on somebody, or if somebody's over at the farmers market at Goddard Memorial State Park, where we have those farmers markets surrounded by beautiful trees. But trees that had to come down.
DEM records show that Northeastern was paid $128,000 in 2015, $827,000 in 2016, $61,000 in 2017, $91,000 in 2018, and $401,000 in 2019. Why the large fluctuations? Healy pointed to 2015.
We had a microburst that caused incredible damage to Burlingame Campground. All kinds of damage, lots of trees. There were even injuries in that.
But some of the work has been planned. Over the past several years, tens of thousands of acres have seen a high volume of weakened or damaged trees, some because of the gypsy moths. In June, Northeastern, at the direction of DEM, took down nearly 24 weakened trees, including this one at Goddard State Park in Warwick, at a cost of about $30,000.
The way we've had to handle the maintenance, like routine or tree work, I won't say routine, but tree work, is not unlike how we just handled the triple E threat from this past year, which was going into 2019, we had no way of knowing that this was going to be a historically bad year for triple E.
Healy said he expects the internal investigation into the employee's conduct to take at least 2 weeks to complete.
When you screw up, right, the way to handle it is, number one, to identify it and call it what it is. It's a mistake. Now, there's an investigation going on, so right now, all I know is that it's a mistake, right? So it's call it what it is. Number two is make a repair. So in this case, the director and the head of parks have paid back the company for that solicited money, for the money we should not have asked for. And number three, what are you going to do different? And what we're going to do different is we're going to get ethics training in here so that everybody knows it, is up on it, lives by it. You'd like to think that people would have the awareness of the code of ethics in Rhode Island, that there are certain things you can do and certain things you cannot do. There are just certain no-fly zones, and this is one of them.
In Providence, Jim Hummel for the Hummel Report.